Security professionals constantly worry about their readiness for the next cyber threat. And they're not just being paranoid. How an organization prepares for the next generation of cyber threats may determine the difference between continued business success and catastrophic business failure. The Stormworm of 2007, for example, reportedly infected more than 1 million computers connected to the Internet. What threats does the future hold for IT security? One way to anticipate the evolving threat landscape is to take a look at IT trends and project where they'll end up in the next 3 years. It is very likely that during this time period, most organizations will increase their dependence on their IT infrastructure and the Internet, making them more vulnerable to cyber threats than they are today. Over the next 3 years, organizations will be burdened with many new services and applications that will impact productivity, such as having an increasingly mobile workforce, pervasive use of VoIP services, increasing dependence on IM and SMS-like functions in the workplace, growth of Wi-Fi and WiMAX, ubiquity of Web 2.0 technologies, growing or shrinking storage media, next-generation cyber threats. Continuing an existing trend, financial gain will prevail as the primary motivator for next-generation cyber threats. The ability to monetize Internet victims has lured powerful organized crime syndicates to the online world, driving the development of new exploit techniques. By looking at the general IT trends and the major threat factors discussed earlier, a vision of the future threat landscape comes into focus. In this new landscape, the following will define the environment for just about every network environment. Financial gain will remain the primary motivator. Compromised computers will remain a primary weapon. Mobile devices will become common targets. Phishing will become more targeted. Tempt-to-click email will become increasingly used for attack. Exploits hidden deep within seemingly legitimate files will become a common way to slip by traditional security defenses. Complex image-based spam will evade traditional filtering. In order to best combat the threats posed by malicious content, rate-based attacks, and undesired access, enterprises should select and deploy a network IPS solution that addresses all three in an integrated, mutually reinforcing fashion, as Top Layer Networks does with its three-dimensional protection approach to network IPS. Compared to other network IPS solutions, Top Layer's IPS 5500 is advantaged in the following areas: breadth of coverage, 3DP versus just IPS used by most other products, network performance, lowest latency and high throughput mean no network interruption, reliability, purpose-built hardware has no rotating media, no chip fans, redundant power, 11-year MTBF scalability, and transparency. Top Layer's protection cluster allows transparent IPS deployment in all redundant networks, even asymmetric real-time. Security. User interface model facilitates real-time incident response for security pros. Most competing products in the IPS marketplace seek to detect and protect against only facets of the threat landscape, but do not protect effectively across the threat spectrum of undesired access, malicious content, and rate-based attacks as Top Layer's IPS 5500 does. Even the best security, however, becomes worthless in the real world if network performance is crippled. Security must not negatively impact on an organization's ability to do business. The Top Layer IPS 5500 has the lowest latency of any network IPS product, with all models introducing less than 100 microseconds of network delay. Top Layer's IPS 5500 E-Series delivers the best defense against today's and tomorrow's cyber threats without sacrificing performance. Enterprises that seek to reduce risks and losses associated with current and next-generation cyber threats should consider Top Layer's three-dimensional protection, or 3DP, solution. For more information about Top Layer, join them for a special webinar session here at Infotech Live by clicking the link below labeled Featured Presentation, or visit them at toplayer.com.